Hello.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Very well, sir. Such a pleasure to have you here.
Such a pleasure to be with you, Joydeep. Tell me.
First of all, sir, thank you so much for joining the event and taking the time to spend some time with us in the speaker lounge as well, as we
I
call
tell you, this is such a great honor and pleasure for me. I am so happy that you all have put together an event where 1100 people are attending, plus.
it. Sir. And we kind of received 3,000 RSVPs. We are still analyzing the numbers, but we believe by the end of the day, we would have touched a rolling crowd of 3,000.
Wow. Congratulations. Well done. Well
Thank
done.
you. Thank you very much.
Shows how much you have brought compliance to the center of everybody's mind frame.
And sir, all thanks to your blessings and guidance. You've been a long-standing supporter and a partner to Legacies. Really appreciate all your inputs and support.
Delighted. Tell me, how do we carry forward this conversation so it has some meaningful value for whoever may want to log in?
So, sir, at this time, I can tell you there is a lot of young crowd in the audience. If I may count myself sitting on the fence,
Of
but
course you are.
we are celebrating the 40 under 40 awards right now and a couple of panels. So why don't we try and focus the conversation around the audience that is kind of building or are in the mid phase of their careers in what we call as the GRACE space: governance, risk, assurance, compliance, and ethics. Let me first start with you were a part of the jury panel. You saw a lot of applications, literally thousands this year.
Yeah.
What was your reaction when you saw the nature and the quality and the quantum of these applications?
So three things came very squarely to our attention. One is that the uh, the desire to comply has gone up dramatically. People are not looking for ways to see if they can get past their compliance burden. People are trying to seek ways to actually comply. And the digital support that Legacies gives on every aspect of compliance is something that is creating this high dose of compliance orientation. And for that, all credit goes to you. So long as you keep Legacies and its platform up to date at all times, which I know you do, I think you're going to be a force of great good. That's what came to me as I saw all of these applications from so many people from all over the country. There was no geographical region that was left out. I thought young, old, east, west, north, south, from all over, people want to show that they wish to comply. And I think that is very critical.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And that's a very astute observation. So let's move the conversation a little further. I would like to understand what are your guidance point for this part of these professionals who are a part of the first line and the second line of defense, especially during these trying times. Clearly, businesses are under stress,
Yeah.
revenues are under stress, and therefore there is a lot of tacit pressure that is building. How does one uphold the principles of governance, risk, and even maybe a questionable thing about ethics during these times? What's your guiding principle to that?
My guiding principle is only one: integrity will pay. That has to be the watchword for every person in our country. Things have changed. There is a complete transparency kind of environment that is being built up. Whether you look at the tax frameworks, you look at the GST framework, you look at account aggregator rules that are coming into place, you look at the way in which tax determination is going to be the norm rather than tax filing. You're seeing that The company law, for example, is a live law. The number of amendments that have come about are spectacular. And therefore, the need to again get back to that simple old adage of integrity will pay in the long run is of critical importance. Now, there are also two other things that I would like all of us to do, and this is the responsibility that we should jointly fulfill. One, that we should be advocates for more stability, more simplicity, and more clarity so that compliance can keep going up. This advocacy role we should continue to perform. For example, I went on a limb to recommend in a recent Power Talk that why can we not have, now that we have come this great distance, why can we not have a reduction of our litigation by 75% in a 2-year period? It's very possible to do this. It will declog courts, it will make things easier, it will make ease of doing business, people will feel justice is being rendered. That's one area of advocacy that I would request everybody to join hands with. Second, stabilize the law, the tax law. For 5 years, don't have the source of any litigation is change. The main word, everybody tries to it in simple personal circumstances. And this is, I feel, stability of both direct and indirect tax.
Shailesh, we seem to be facing bandwidth issues at your end, or so that is what the technology indicator tells us. Could we request you to turn on your video, please? Sorry for the technical issue. We'll get Shailesh back online in a moment. Until then, we're placing this session on pause, just a few seconds, and we'll be back. Please take the opportunity to review the agenda and identify the sessions that you want to attend going forward. Starting 4 p.m., we've got a single track in Auditorium 1, so hope to see you there.
Hello. Jaideep, are we back? Sorry, I think there was
Yes.
some internet issue.
We are
So
back.
the second point I was making was essentially to keep both the direct and indirect tax laws stable. And the third point of advocacy I would like to make is that we should harmonize laws and practices across international borders. So if we can do our advocacy along these three vectors, that's something that the large audience here can play a very vital role to bring this to the attention of government.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I think those are literally three clarion calls in terms of what we need to do from moving from more government to more governance. And that will definitely help the businesses and the economy. So let's get your views and points about bringing in technology into the grace space. Clearly, it's been spoken about, and we've seen that during these COVID times, things have accelerated. There has been a much larger adoption. A few days back, we had the National Conclave on Artificial Intelligence. What's your view about bringing in technology and artificial intelligence in the space of governance, risk, compliance, and ethics?
Absolutely. Fantastic question, Jaideep. There are going to be only two types of organizations post-COVID. One, which embraces and brings in artificial intelligence to all its uh, dimensions, and the others which will close down. So without artificial intelligence, you will not have an organization alive. Things have become so complicated and the variables have become so multifarious that if you do not bring in artificial intelligence and add to the human intelligence, so there has to be a combinatorial thought process. It's not as if humans will be replaced by AI. It is that the human intelligence will be added significantly. The good news for the world is that today you don't need to write code. You have machine learning algos which can sit on data sets, and the good data sets can train the bad data sets, so to speak. And I'm just using very, very commonplace kind of language to make the point. But this is how it works, actually. We have seen it. I'm working with an organization which is going to support data-led lending and monitoring and recovery. And this is the principle they've adopted, and this is giving incredible early warning signals to everybody. So even in Legasys's platform, you need to give people that early warning signal that look, this particular law is changing. The entire labor law framework has changed. The entire agricultural law framework has changed. The entire company law is going through a massive transformation. Now, when all of this is happening, you need to make sure that you have the ability to quickly move from where you are to where you need to be. And that can only happen through full embracing of technology, artificial intelligence, machine learning.
Thank you so much. You actually set the stage for our tech unveiling at 6 p.m. We are talking about a whole new innovation that is coming out of the labs of Legasys. We are actually unveiling what we call AI-enabled algorithm. I'll not give away, but this is a good enough teaser. But I
Good.
think what you said is exactly kind of an opening for that. I wish I had partnered with you to create that session, but maybe next time. So, sir, thank you so much. I think technology and artificial intelligence is definitely there. I mean, last year we unveiled our IoT enablement of the Legatrix platform, where plant shop floor machines or effluent treatment plants can actually talk directly to the compliance management system without human intervention and accurately capture the levels of EHS compliance or the consent order compliances that you have. We
Absolutely.
also opened up BI interfaces where organizations could cut and slice the data they want. They want to see insights on how compliances are flowing. So they, in many ways, kind of get an early warning system. And we continue that innovation. At Legasys, we always follow domain and technology together. The follow-on question to you, sir, is how much information and how much data should be in the hands of grace professionals? Most recently, the US DOJ issued a publication saying the compliance professional should receive adequate access to data, whether directly or indirectly. So what's your view on how much access should these professionals get to the data?
So my short answer is complete and absolute. No restrictions whatsoever. But I'll give a cautionary note by saying that we need to use blockchain, because what is happening is that data is no longer an entity based reality. It is an ecosystem based reality. And data emerges from data lakes, which are being created by multiple ecosystems, which are in turn connected with each other. Now, when you are pulling in this kind of data, streaming data, then you can blockchain it and entomb it so that you don't permit people to mischievously change it retrospectively or in any other way to tamper with it. If you achieve that, then there should be no reason to be non-transparent. So Privacy should be permission, but transparency should be absolute. That is the principle that I'm now pushing everywhere on boards and wherever I'm in a governance position. I'm saying we respect privacy, but after that, let data stream, let it be entombed. Let us be sure that we are not sitting and trying to search for errors. We want to search for one moment of truth, and we want to entomb it, and we want to use it with the right permission, but fully transparently in such a manner that the outcome should be that every day we should be able to give out our financial statements. Number one. Number two, we should be able to give an integrated report at the end of the year, not just your report on balance sheet and P&L, but an integrated report which talks about 6 capitals: your environment, your brand capital, your human capital, your intellectual capital, physical capital, and your financial capital. So the whole world is moving away and shifting out of this total focus on finance and on accounting. That is historical. What you want is a view to the future. What compliance does is it enables you to bravely reach out to the future because all your data sets are totally reliable. There's one moment of truth and you have captured it and you don't allow anybody to tamper with it. That has to become the remit of all auditors and all internal auditors and everybody who is in the control system. Risk management is creating reliable online real-time data. That is the big change that we are advocating now in all the companies that I'm associated with.
So access to data also leads to the question about data protection and data privacy both. As we know, India is just on the cusp of passing its own data privacy law. Data protection by itself is a global issue. How do you protect data from malware attacks and so on? Very recently, there was a large organization in the global supply chain movement that was shut for several days only because their networks were breached. It causes a loss of confidence, a lot of this. Of course, both are distinct subjects, but let's try and tackle this. What are your views about how do these professions
So
handle it?
I, I think the boards have to become far better educated about cybersecurity, data privacy, data leakage, and all of that. Give you an instance. In a company like NSDL e-governance, we spend half a day every quarter on going through our cybersecurity position. It is absolutely critical for us to be able to confirm to ourselves first that we are protected. Our data will not be breached. Our systems will not be uh, tampered with. Our ability to provide service, we are into critical services. We are giving people access to their NPS data. We are giving people access to their tax data, their TDS, all of that. Now, you cannot permit a single stoppage of that data flowing to the wide system. Entire country needs it. And therefore, we are completely obsessed with making sure that all of this happens. Now, this obsession has to now transcend to all organizations which are in situations where they are dealing with large numbers of people, both at the customer end and at the supplier end. And indeed, the number of people who are employed by them, if they are large enough, then there's a huge data flow right there, which needs to be protected. And it is very important to measure the quality of your controls, to be on top of it, to continuously improve it, to be in line with behavioral economics, to be in line with game theory, to be in line with data protection, all the cybersecurity tenets, and make sure that you create a safe environment for data to remain where it is supposed to remain and used for the purpose that it is designated to fulfill.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you so much. I know we requested you for 15 minutes of your time. We've already stretched to 20. It must be a very busy day for you. Uh, Before we let you go, any closing comments for the audience?
Now, please tell everybody, remain committed, remain to purpose. Most important word today across the world is purpose. And our purpose is to be so compliant that the organization can feel confident to take more risk to bring in more productivity and better value for our entire planet.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you so much. So this was a great conversation with none other than Mr. Shailesh Haribhakti, a man who needs no introduction. He himself is a legend in this space. I'm sure you enjoyed the conversation as much as I did. If there are any questions for Sir, I hope Sir will take them offline. I will promise you that I'll channelize it to him and get the responses back. Sir, I hope you stay back for the rest of the day and
Sure.
enjoy the great lineup of the sessions we have. And once again, a big,
Absolutely.
big thank you to you and the rest of the jury panel for working through thousands of nominations and picking our winners for this year. Thank you again for joining us, sir.
Pleasure, pleasure, pleasure. Thank you. Bye bye.